Well, hello and welcome to yet again another special Saturday episode of Radio Free Professional Wrestling. Yes, I'm with David, the Smart Mark, Progress's new favorite radio host, and I'm just the most humble American you know yet until you see my bracket, and I'm probably going to piss off every single one of you Brits as I make my selections in Progress Super Strong Style 16. But David, before we get started, I do want to bring something to attention to everybody. This past Monday night, I learned that John Bones Klinger passed away that Monday morning. There is a GoFundMe that I have linked to our Twitter account, and I will post in the show notes of this video podcast. If you are able to, please go and donate. The money will go to the family of John Klinger. And what I learned from the German Wrestling Federation is they already passed their goal inside 24 hours. So I was really, really happy to hear that they exceeded the goal and they're still running the fundraiser. So if you could donate, please donate.
Yeah, sad news. The guy was huge in Germany and in Europe. I first saw Bad Bones in the original 1PW days. Not really knowing a lot about him, but he wrestled Iceman a couple of times and was involved in the hardcore death match, if you will. It was a bit of a speciality of him. But the geezer could wrestle as well, Sean. He was a big, imposing dude, having that big, deep German accent as well. So you never knew. When he was insulting the audience, you never knew quite what he was saying, but you just knew he was insulting you. Yeah, dreadful shame. And condolences to his family and friends.
Exactly. We like to express our condolences to his family, friends, co-workers, and fans. David, no easy way to transition here, but we will carry on to entertain you guys this weekend as we present you our day one Super Strong Style preview. Okay, 2 weeks ago, we gave you our thoughts on the matches as they were coming out. Now we've seen the bracket, and let me show you guys the bracket. We have the following matches, David, and I'll go with the left-hand side facing me.
Yeah.
The first match we see is Shelton Benjamin versus Leon Slater. We get Angela Blanc versus Manlight Doris, Mike Santana versus Connor Mills, Ricky Knight Jr. versus Simon Miller, Luke Jacobs, Mike D on the top right-hand corner, then G Monday versus Kid Lycos 2. Then we have Eddie Dennis versus TK Cooper, and Casey Navarro versus Tate Mayfair. So those are the first round matches. And David, allow me to show you my official card. I have made one, and this is my official card for the show. Yep. David, anything surprise you about my path to who wins the final?
No, you stitched me up here a little bit, young Sean, you naughty boy, because we were discussing this just before we came on air. But admittedly, pretty bad. Right. The only ones I would just, I think you're right about Tate Mayfair. I think Tate Mayfair is going to get a good push, but in my opinion, he doesn't go all the way. Now, my dream final, to give you a clue of what my thinking is like, would be Ricky Knight Jr. versus Luke Jacobs. That would, to me, absolutely, it's a worthy final and would tear it up. Are you listening, Mr. McAteer? Is it too late? Anyway, I'm going to go down with what you picked and I agree with Luke Jacobs over Mikey B. Kid Like Us too. In fact, that side of it, of the draw in the quarterfinals, I agree with all of them. Eddie Dennis over Cooper, Tate Mayfair over Casey Navarro, and there will be some absolute belters. Certainly 3 out of 4 of those will be belters, and G Money's in the match. On the other side of the quarterfinals, it depends on what import rules Progress have got to play by. But that Shelton Benjamin Leon Slater match is a standout for me, an absolute standout of the first round and not to be missed. I agree with your Agile Blanc over man like Doris, and I certainly agree with Connor Mills over Mike Santana. Good little push to get maybe a big input kill while Mike Santana obviously is the gentleman that he is, and everyone will be there to see him. And the last quarterfinal goes without saying. I don't even want to discuss that, but Ricky Knight Jr. should win that in about 15 seconds. Then we go on to your next round picks of the quarterfinals. But they're the quarterfinals. They were the last 16. I don't agree with Kid Like Us 2 over Jacobs because I want Luke Jacobs in the final.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay, David. So the reason I have this upset here in my quarterfinal part of this bracket is if you remember 2 weeks ago, I pushed the story of Kid Like Us 2 making the similar run through the tournament as Kid Like Us. And on that final day, we have Kid Like Us on the verge of making history. And I will continue this later on, but carry on, David.
No. Right, okay, yeah. Obviously, you can look back on the back catalogue of Radio Free Pro Wrestling and see Shawn's booking logic, which is it's sound. I'm going back to my old cliched. Look at Luke Jacobs. Look at Kid Like Us 2. It shouldn't even be a competition. However, obviously, it will be booked accordingly. They're both good wrestlers, but they should be, to be fair, in almost like their own division. Eddie Dennis of a Tape Made Fest could be an absolute face heel dynamic barn burner. And I'm almost with that. I'd like Eddie Dennis to go over. I think Tate will. I think you're right in the way he's being pushed. But I'd like Eddie too. But I don't really care. I'm just going to sit back on my little keister. And as long as that match takes place, enjoy the hell out of it. So your semi-finals, MLD, Man Like DeReese versus Ricky Knight Jr. And that is a coin toss for me. If that happens, that is a huge coin toss. However, just on East Anglian loyalty, I'd like Ricky Knight Jr. to go over. I have nothing against Man Like DeReese, who's possibly a future Progress World Champion, but it's my card and I can pick it. The same with, I would have a Jacobs, Eddie Dennis semi-final on the other side of the draw, and again Luke Jacobs goes over with plucky Eddie Dennis just coming up short again. But again, that would be an absolute cracker. Luke Jacobs and Eddie Dennis, love to see that. Which would give me a final of RKJ versus Luke Jacobs, of which I don't care. They could pick whoever they like because both would represent as a super strong style 16 winner. In the perfect manner that Progress would expect. I'll shut up now, Shawn. Thank you for
playing. Well, I do love the fact that you have this Luke Jacobs versus Eddie Dennis semifinal on that right-hand side bracket as you were looking at it with me. I feel like that would be an amazing match, and I wouldn't be complaining money watching it. I'd be like right here with my popcorn, my soda, being like, okay, just let me have this match, let it go. Don't care who wins, because wrestling fans win.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you'd actually think if Progress didn't book that, they'd be very, very silly, wouldn't they? They'd be very, very silly.
I would say maybe 75% silly because I kind of want to see my bracket play out. So I can't give you a full seal for it here.
I'm just very mischievous this afternoon and excited.
Well, David, we have 16 questions. So what I did was I posed 2 questions for each of the first round matches. And the first one I want to go to, we are starting with Casey Navarro versus Tate Mayfair. The winner faces Eddie Dennis and TK Cooper. So my first question is, David, can Casey Navarro get out of the first round? Can he defeat Tate Mayfair?
No, because I think Tate Mayfair is a huge asset to Progress Wrestling and deservedly should be pushed. KC will have another day, without a doubt. He's a talent, be a great match, but no, Tate Mayfair has to go forward.
See, I agree with you, David. This should be an exciting first round match, and KC Navarro will have a good showing. But David, if Tate Mayfair doesn't get out of the first round, I can go ahead and just toss my bracket to the side because I have bet the farm on Tate Mayfair to go through the tournament.
Mate, if he doesn't, right? If Tate doesn't go forward in the first round, I'll pay for you to get on a flight to Liverpool. We'll go up. We'll go and wait in Tranmere Rovers Football Club till a certain gentleman turns up, and we'll have protests outside of there, and no one will know what it is. But yeah, just think on.
Okay, so my second question about this first round matchup: does Tate Mayfair have the easiest path to the final?
Yes.
See, Dave,
out of all of them, to be fair, yes. Which is also why I think he'll go deep.
Okay, David, my reasoning for him having the easiest path to the final is one, he gets Eddie Dennis in the second round. His biggest competition is in the second round. So Tate Mayfair has one match before he faces Eddie Dennis. So he's at the second most peak he's going to be at in this tournament. So he's facing the hardest challenger second. He gets past this match. Worst case scenario, you get Luke Jacobs. But Luke has to wrestle 2 matches before he faces Tate.
You have gone into this. However, you're correct. I wouldn't qualify it as easy. I would qualify it as more user-friendly. There you go. Look at that. What do you think of that?
Okay, I agree with you. Tate Mayfair controls his destiny in this tournament.
Yeah. Come on, bring it on.
Okay. We'll go to the other side of the coin here. We're looking at Eddie Dennis versus TK Cooper. And my first question for you, David, what will it take for TK Cooper to defeat Eddie Dennis?
Mambo not turning heel. There you go. That's how deep I've looked into the booking.
Okay, me personally, I feel TK Cooper needs to have the match of his life to go past Eddie Dennis.
I feel heel turn. I feel a splitting of the Sunshine Machine over the weekend. You try saying that after when you're all jiggery pokery and excited. The Sunshine Machine are going to the crapper, Shawn, and Chuck Mambo is going to cost TK Cooper the Super Strong Style 16 tournament, allowing good old Eddie Dennis, because I love Eddie Dennis, and I do love Eddie Dennis, to advance.
Okay, you can send all your hate tweets to DBrightly6 on Twitter if you're a Sunshine Machine fan and don't like that. DBrightly6.
Bring it on.
Okay, David, my second question in this matchup. Will Eddie Dennis exercise the Ghost of Tournament Pass and win this year's edition?
Unfortunately, not.
See, I'm with you because I'm a big Eddie Dennis fan. If he was in the other side of this tournament bracket, I would have him in the final, or at least the semifinal. But unfortunately, second round, he's there with Tate Mayfair. And like I said 2 weeks ago, if I had to bet this house that I'm living in on somebody winning this tournament, it's going to be Tate Mayfair. So sorry, Eddie Dennis, maybe next year.
Yeah, and I think that's why there's many. I mean, Jesus, look at us too. We book it to the nth degree here, but I think at the moment he's the golden boy with good reason. I'm not being negative yet. Have you noticed this? I hope everyone's noticed this. I am being positive. I am so looking forward to these cards. I really, really am. And ladies and gentlemen, also On Demand Progress are screening them live for everyone. Or were we coming to that, boss? Sorry.
No, we can do it right now. If you're not able to make the trip down to London to see the 2-day event, you can literally check it out on Progress Demand Plus. The easiest way to see it here in the United States. And yes, I will be watching it Monday when I'm off from work. I already get my plans. I got my popcorn, soda, all that stuff ready. David, we're doing 2 freaking shows on Monday.
We are.
Yes.
How did I let myself get talked into that?
Well, you're the one to tell me that you want to do 2 shows, so I kind of stupidly agreed.
So
I'm waking up at stupid American time to do the first one.
It's nice for once it bites you on the backside rather than me.
Well, we're moving on to the next sets of matches here as we're going over to Luke Jacobs versus Mike D. And my first question for you, David, is Luke Jacobs the clear favorite on this side of the bracket? We're talking about the right-hand side of the bracket, the one with Tate Mayfair and 100%. Eddie Dennis.
100%. As I say, the only thing that puts some confusion in the stew pot is the fact that he's on the same side as Tate, and it depends on how far Progress want to take this. But Luke Jacobs, to me, is one of the obvious candidates to win the whole thing.
Well, David, I'm with you. I feel like the only challenge Jacobs is going to have is that semifinal. He either gets Eddie Dennis or Tate Mayfair. That's the hardest match he's going to have before he hits the final. So,
and
like I said,
about that. Great prospect. Great prospect. I can't wait for that. I really can't. And to say, it's been a long while since I've been genuinely excited by a British wrestling card and the potential in and within it. And I can't wait till 3:00 tomorrow afternoon. I should be back from my Sunday dinner. I should be full of roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. And all I've got to do is stay awake. And I think for once that card is going to keep me awake. But I digress.
Okay, so my second question for this match is, are we all sleeping on Mike D? Could he pull up a surprise victory over Luke Jacobs and throw everybody's bracket into flux?
Yes, of course he could. Of course he could. He shouldn't. He won't. He shouldn't. And he won't. If he does, you're getting back on that flight to Liverpool.
Well, if he does, it opens up the bracket for my pick, Tate Mayfair, to advance easier to the final, buddy.
Well, okay, yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, no,
but we're in agreement. I feel like this is going to be if it happens, it'll be the upset of the century here.
It's my pick to win it, so I'm not going to go against that. That's how I put it.
So we're going over to the other side of this set of matches, and it's G Money versus Kid Lycos 2. And David, my first question to you is: this the most underrated match of the tournament?
Boy, have you stitched me up, Burkhead.
Okay, to be honest to everybody, David has not seen any of my questions here, so he doesn't know what's coming next.
Boy, have you stitched me up. Don't you sat there looking smug as well. No one likes smug. No one likes smug. Underrated match of the tournament.
Yes.
If by underrated you mean shit, then yes, it's the most underrated match of the tournament. And you'll need the swear jar for that. Now, there are two wrestlers I don't want to see. I'll be honest. Out of the 16, and I've been praised, and you just sent me. You've pulled my chain to send me off into a tirade. No, not for me. And as long as whoever wins this, which I think should be like us too, but it could be G Money because for some reason they like him. Whereas I can't stomach his gimmick, his wrestling, or what have you. And it's just like it's British comedy wrestling done bad. We, with Les Kelly and William Regal and other such luminaries, Cat Weasel, brought proper comedy to wrestling. And it's got to be done right. Gene doesn't do it right for me. Sorry.
Okay. So I kind of feel like this might be a match that everybody's sleeping on. I feel like it's two wrestlers that maybe are not the diehard Progress Wrestling fans' favorites, but I got a feeling it's tournament time. And usually tournaments always give you a surprise match that's better than what you think it's going to be. And it may be this match right here.
Yeah, you're right, Sean. Yes, Sean. They do, don't they? Yes, it could be. I'm really looking. Oh, no, I'm not. Wait, no.
So my second question for this match is, can Kid Lycos 2 end the weekend as the winner of the Superstar Style 16?
Oh, God, I hope not. He probably could, but I hope not.
Okay, David, if he does, part of my storyline is true, and I'll be kind of happy, but the second part is I'll be kind of upset because I didn't make him all the way to the final because I have him losing to Tate Mayfair in the semifinal of the tournament for one reason. As you see my tournament bracket, and I'll go back to it here for a second as I'm talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay. My whole path here is making Tate Mayfair your top heel in Progress Wrestling because look at this. He takes out beloved Eddie Dennis in the quarterfinals. Then Kid Lycos, on the cusp of making history, gets defeated by Tate Mayfair. That Progress crowd is going to absolutely hate Tate Mayfair as he's going into the finals here, facing off against beloved RJK.
Now, I am going to make myself unpopular. You keep stitching me right up like a kid, Burkhead. I don't think, and this is the AEW debate at the moment, isn't it? Where there's no actual heel or face dynamic, because I don't see Tate Mayfair as a heel. I really don't. He's too entertaining. Once a heel becomes entertaining, he's not a heel.
I agree, yes. And I feel like this tournament could literally be the moment where you flip Tate and this tournament makes him a face going
it
forward.
might be where they're going to turn him. Yeah, there might be the plan over the 2 days to turn Tate. Oh, and that would make a lot of sense. And I'd have absolutely no problem with that. But it is the AEW debate, and there's no. I mean, did you hear Meltzer and Alvarez arguing over the Tony Storm? And Alvarez was absolutely brilliant. He pulled Meltzer's pants down and spanked him to death over whether Tony Storm was a heel or a face this week. He absolutely ruined Dave, and it was a brilliant listen, a really brilliant listen. But this is the dynamic. There is in AEW, there's no heel or face, and I think here, Tate Mayfair, because he's so damn entertaining, is losing the heel dynamic for me, from my opinion, and I think it will be very easy for Progress to turn him.
Well, David, we have made it through 8 questions, and there's only 8 questions left for you to go through. As we flip to the other side of the bracket, we're going over to the left-hand side of the bracket. First match up, Shelton Benjamin versus Leon Slater. The winner faces Alon Block and Man Like Darius. So, my first question for you. Will this be the match everyone is talking after day one? I'm talking about Leon Slater versus Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, very possibly. To me, out of the first round matches, it's the standout one. I mean, you've got it's Shelton Benjamin. Oh, in London, in a smaller, and with respect to Progress, because it'll be rammed and they'll be noisy. It's Shelton Benjamin. It's Shelton Benjamin.
David,
I said it's Shelton Benjamin.
David, it's Shelton Benjamin outside of the WWE with no handcuffs on his talent, getting a chance to go balls to the wall with somebody who can keep up.
Yeah, with one of the best British wrestlers going out there, bar none. Now, again, it just comes back to the age old. Is Shelton there for 2 days? Is he competing 2 days? Is he doing a gas tag team match on the second day, which obviously normally works with these sort of tournaments? You only have to look at Bowler to see how they worked it with all the defeated wrestlers. So my decision, my thinking purely and simply is that Shelton sees the lights with this after a great performance. We get some mark of respect, standing ovation, and we move on. But I cannot wait for this match.
David, this match right here makes me upset that I didn't take off the Sunday, day one of this tournament from work. Unfortunately for me, my birthday fell on a Sunday, so I could only normally take one Sunday off a month. So I took my birthday off. And now I have this match coming up, and I'm going like, dang it. I want to see this match live.
Do you know what's going to happen now? Because someone's been stitched up over this side of the Atlantic. You might just receive spoilers.
I know you. I'm going to keep myself off of Twitter until I get home and be able to watch night one if I am able to. Because I know you're going to sit there like, Shawn, look.
That's a bloody big if, Fjord.
True. Okay, so my second question for this match is, could Leon Slater make a play for the semi-final spot from that little group of 2 matches?
Yes.
I think so too. I mean, like, if he gets past Shelton Benjamin, he most likely is going to face Man Like Darius, and Man Like Darius versus Leon Slater is going to kick butt.
I know. Yeah, you're going to follow me, mate. I as I say, it just reiterates what I've said. And you know me, normally I am a grumpy, miserable old toss bag. And I am so excited for these 2 days. I really genuinely am. And I hope I just hope it delivers. But yeah, the potential for some of the matches in there. Fair play to Progress with with just a couple of exceptions, they've booked this exceptionally well so far.
Okay, so we're going over to the other side of the coin here as Leon Blanc versus man like Darius. And my question for you, number one, is what would it take for man like Darius to walk away as Super Strong Style Champion 2024?
Again, he's in the mix. You've got Darius, you've got Leon Slater, you've got RKJ. There's so many that in theory they could do it with. They could give a push Tate. Even though I think he's an outsider, but even Eddie Dennis, no one would go home unhappy. If that makes sense. Darius for the semi-finals. Yeah, no issue with that.
Okay, like I said 2 weeks ago, he's my dark horse, and Progress has set him up for a possible run through to the semifinals. Now, granted, it's going to be a hard path after he gets around his first round matchup because he either gets Leon Slater or Shelton Benjamin. Then in the semifinal, he's going to have to face RJK.
Yeah. You don't need me, do you?
I like having you around. It's always entertaining to have you around. This saying, this entertaining.
Little pet dog that you stroke occasionally.
We'll go on to the other side of the coin for my second question for you. How upset would people be if Leon Blanc upset man like Darius and advance to the second round? Because I've been watching some other previews for Progress Super Strong Style 16, and some people are picking this gentleman over man like Darius. Now, personally, I feel like they are cuckoo for Cocoa Pups, but hey, I'll let them say la vie.
No, mate, I'm good with that. No, I don't see it. Darius has got it. He's popular. He's good. He's a Progress asset. No, Darius goes through. It's got to be. Got to be.
Okay, so we're moving down to the last set of two matches as we're looking at Mike Santana versus Connor Mills. And my first question for you.
You go up.
How significant would it be for Connor Mills to advance past the first round?
Oh, hugely. And he deserves it. He deserves a crack. He is a young British talent that Progress have used a fair bit. He's developed. He's developing. And to beat Mike Santana, who's like, with all due respect, you know what you're going to get from Mike Santana. I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to see that he's over it. Progress have done well to get two really high quality imports that are, that will put the work in, shall we say. You know what you're going to get from them. But it would be nice to see Connor Mills advance. I think he will. And it will do his career a load of good, and it will give Progress the chance, as they do very, very well, to push him. And the one thing you could say about Progress, and Tony Khan needs to take note on this, Progress do a good feud build. When they get it right, I don't think there's a company in world wrestling, I'm going to put my neck on the line here, in world wrestling, that do a build better than them.
Very true, David. I hardly ever come away from a Progress chapter thinking, that was a bad chapter. There was nothing on there that I wanted to see.
Every match was crap. Yeah, no, you don't. That's something you don't say. You just don't say.
And usually, they do long-term storytelling well. They do a sports presentation of professional wrestling and are able to do long-term storytelling. It's not hard. The rest of the world should be looking at Progress going they got this figured out. How can we copy?
I do think they're aided by the fact that they have the one show-ish a month. Sometimes it's 2 or 3. But I think it does help. And again, it's the old WWE, AEW thing of sometimes less is more.
Very true, David. Less it's more sometimes. And you're right. They may benefit from the fact they do a chapter every so often. And there's so much anticipation between chapter to chapter.
But their promo videos are superb. They really are. The only company I've ever seen that does a promo video for a feud, as well as, and I'm going because I don't want to differentiate between the two, it's the Dublin Wrestling Company, OTT, Over the Top Wrestling. They do a feud video superbly, like Progress do. And it's something Tony should, I mean, the B won't, because obviously he's Tony, but they should watch and learn from. They really, really should.
Okay, we're moving on to my second question of this match. Could Mike Santana be the international star that lasts the longest in this tournament? I mean, it's between him and Shelton Benjamin, and they're on the same side of the bracket, which is interesting.
I mean, there is the prospect that they could meet in the semi-finals, which would be a hell of a match, and maybe go, and then a Brit goes over in the final. I mean, again, it comes down to the time, cost, and the old import laws, and we'll probably have a good idea up to date.
Well, true. Now, personally, going into day one, I'm thinking Shelton Benjamin may have a slight edge over Mike Santana in lasting longer, but it's razor thin. If you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one I would pick.
Both of them are really, really good adverts for professional wrestling, and that's all you can say.
Okay, David, I saved the best match for last. As we're down to Ricky Knight Jr. versus Simon Miller, the winner faces Connor Mills and Mike Santana, and I see you getting up and leaving the room.
Well, it's simple. I'm going to keep this short, sweet, because obviously I knew this was coming. I have courted controversy with my comments on Mr. Miller previously, including the owner of Progress Wrestling threatening to put me in the ring with him. Ricky Knight Jr. wins. End of.
Okay, so my first question for you, David, is Ricky Knight Jr. the favorite on this side of the bracket? Looking at everybody on the left-hand side of that bracket, is he the favorite? Is he like Luke Jacobs on the other side?
I'd like to think so. It would be my choice. I love Ricky Knight Jr. I'm a fan of the Knight family as a whole, you know, whether they're out in America or whether they're here in the UK. Bless his soul, the Zebra Kid, I was a huge fan of, which was one of the first Knight Juniors to I ever saw live. But he had a checkered upbringing, shall we say, which is unsurprising if you ever met Ricky and Soraya. Which I have. She still scares the living out of me. She really is a scary woman. No, Ricky Knight Jr. is one. I'd love to see a Ricky Knight Jr. Leon Slater final. End of. I've said that right from day one.
Okay, David, we're down to my final question, my last of 16 questions. Can you imagine what this question is?
I know I'm being stitched up here again. You've done this really, really well.
Ladies and gentlemen, how big of an upset would it be if Simon Miller advanced past the first round, and how far can he go?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, seriously.
Right. I'm going to say this to you, and this will cut short. If Simon Miller beats Ricky Knight Jr., I'm not watching the rest of Super Strong Style 16. Genuinely.
Okay, David.
And bear that in mind of how enthusiastic I've been about these shows. But if Simon Miller goes over RKJ, I wouldn't be able to watch it again. I wouldn't be able to bring myself to watch it. And I am a man of my word.
Okay, David. So like we said 2 weeks ago, this is like the second hardest draw for Simon Miller to get. Simon Miller has been improving in the ring from the time he started almost a year ago. I feel like he's getting there, but they did him no favors here. They got him with a true talent, a British legend, family member. And sorry, Simon Miller, you're getting a thumbs down because you're not advancing past the first round. And if you do, hey, I'll be here Monday morning to eat humble pie.
Right.
And then I will tell you how far you can go in this tournament.
Right. Okay. That's fair. I'm going to pay Simon Miller a compliment in a minute because I'm not a hypocrite. And one of the things I didn't want to see Simon Miller as, and I've mentioned this to many people upon high, is I didn't want to see Simon Miller as a ring announcer because he's a big man. He's built. He's jacked. he looks like a wrestler. Okay? Now he's wrestling, and I'm thinking, why didn't you just keep your gob shut, Bradley? He looks like a wrestler. There you go. That's a compliment.
David, he's a young wrestler. He's in ring experience, very new, very fresh, still learning the ropes. And like I said, I can see improvements from one to one. Honestly, if they put him into a tag team and have him work as a tag team member, I feel like that might be a better direction to go with Simon Miller. And this tournament, this match with Ricky Knight Jr. is going to tell us a lot about the progress, no pun intended, progress that Simon Miller has made in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. However, I am being very guarded now in what I say, and we'll wait and see. But if Miller does go over RKJ, I'm not going to watch anymore.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if that happens, I will be here solo Monday morning.
Oh, I'll still be here.
Oh, you're going to actually do the show on Monday. Okay, fine. Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our day one preview of Superstar All 16 2024 here on Radio Free Professional Wrestling. If you're watching this on YouTube, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe so you get every episode of Radio Free Professional Wrestling. David, any final words to the Progress fans? What do you want to say to them?
If you're live there, you're going to have a whale of a time all weekend. Bank holiday weekend here in the UK. As I say, I've just been royally kippered by my alleged friend over there in Knoxville. However, it was in the fun of amusement. You've got to judge me of when my tongue's in my cheek and when I'm actually shooting. But it will be, on the whole, a fantastic card and one very well worth watching. And if you can't get to Camden, Progress on Demand is absolutely a fantastic service. And they're showing it live. What's not to like?
Trust me, I'll be checking in day one on my lunch break. This is to see what's going on. I'll be able to at least watch an hour day one live. Thank you to Progress for streaming it live now. But yes. David, until I see you Monday, too sweet me. Have a great start to Progress Superstar All 16. We'll see you here for me bright and early Monday morning. For you guys, Monday afternoon. Have fun, enjoy the event, and thank you, Progress, for supporting Radio Free Professional Wrestling.
Cheers, guys.